Good morning, grade 3s, and how are you doing today? Well, I'm doing very well, thank you. Been out for a walk and enjoying the fresh air outside, so I hope you guys have as well. So welcome to your next maths lesson, grade 3, and you know that this is brought to you by WorksheetCloud. And there on the screen is the email address you can contact me on if you need any help with anything to do with this lesson. Right, before we go on, I'm just going to start us with a little puzzle for the day because I like to do these kind of things. They actually are fun. Right, so this is a puzzle showing 3 different shapes labeled A, B, and C. And the question here is, what are the 3 different whole numbers, 3 different numbers whose sum, which means when you add them up together, and product, when you multiply them together, are the same? I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about this, and if you need more time, you can just put the video on hold and figure it out, or give yourself some more time to figure it out. So there are 3 different numbers, and if you add them together or multiply them together, all 3 of them, they come to the same solution, the same answer. What plus what, and what multiplied by what gives you the same answer. Right, let me show you what the answer is, and if you want to, you can just pause the video. If you want to sit and figure it out on a piece of paper for yourself, that's absolutely fine. First number is 1, the next number is 2, and the last one is 3. So if I say 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 3, the answer is 6. But if I go 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is also 6. Right, so let's just see if we can write that down. 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Just going to sneak that up there. And 1 times 2 times 3 also equals 6. There's a little maths fact that you can copy and paste into your heads, that all those numbers added together equal 6, and multiplied together they also is the same as 6. And here's another little puzzle for us to do, guys. These are one of my favorites. So we've got our watermelon plus watermelons plus watermelons, but those are 2 watermelons that add up to 36. Wow, now what do you think 1 watermelon must be then? Well, if those 3 numbers add up to 36, then each one must be 12. But you must remember that there are, yes, each one must be 12, so that's 12 plus 12 is 36. So then over here, we know that those watermelons are equal to 12, so each little watermelon must be 6, but it doesn't matter because the total is 12. So your question here is then 12 plus what plus what? So 12 plus 2 equal numbers that must be the same will be the same as 28. So let's have a look. Let's say what's left over. If we have 28 minus 12, our answer there is 16. So that means if these 2 numbers added together equal 16, then these numbers, the peaches, must be with 8, have the value of 8. So now remember, be careful here because this is a subtraction sum the next time. So this here is 8, subtract what will give me 3? Well, 3 plus 5 is 8, so 8 minus 5 is 3. There we go. So our peach is worth 8, watermelon 12, and our banana is 5. Cool. And off we go to the next one. Right, let's do this one now. Little worlds, right, the world plus the world plus the world is 21. So that has to be, and if you know your tables, you'll work this out pretty easily. So this has to be a 7. Okay, so 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. Now we've got a helmet, which is a spaceship helmet, or spaceman's helmet, plus the little world equals the rocket. How do I figure that one out? Maybe I'll have to come back to that one. Grade 3, so, but I do know though that this little world where the rocket's going round and round, or the little planets are going round, is worth 7. 7 plus what is 11? We know that 7 plus 3 is 10, so 7 plus 4 is 11. So the helmet is 4. We know that this is 7. So we know that the rocket is 11. Fabulous. Right. Now, let's move on to our actual lesson, grade 3. And today we're looking at patterns, and patterns that are growing and increasing. And we have to increase them in a certain way. Excuse me. So we're going to carry on looking at that. And the whole lesson is based on pictures and patterns, which is quite fun. So let's have a look at this first pattern. I want to ask you the question now. Do you know what this pattern actually is? Well, no, because you don't know how to add on to it, how to increase it and extend it. You don't. Now do you think you know what the pattern is? Can we do the next step? Right, we're just going to add another one on. So the pattern here is just adding one as we go along. Right, and if we did the next one, well, this is what it would look like. Very straightforward. We need to know what the pattern is initially before we can carry on and extend it. And extend means to make it bigger, to make it longer. Here's the second pattern now, grade 3s. Right, so what's happening here? Well, you can see that you've got one little orange square, and then next door you've got another one added. But then we go back to a single little orange square, and then 3. And then a single one, and then 4. So what do we do next? Well, every time there's a little single one in between. And then we can add an extra one. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and 1, 5. You can actually make up your own patterns, or make up a pattern for your brother or your sister, or even for your parents just to complete and extend. So here we go, we're extending. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4, until we can go on forever and ever, grade 3s. Right, here we go. This is a different pattern as well, and it's expanding or extending. I'm just going to make my view, I'll leave it for now. Actually, let me just carry on with this pattern now. So you've got a hexagon, which is yellow, and a square, and a hexagon and 2 squares, and a hexagon and 3 squares. Well, we know that there's always a hexagon in between, but this here is jumping from 1 to 2 to 3 squares, so we need to now, the next step will be 4. This is very simple, and then we'll have our hexagon again, and then of course moving further on we would add 5 little squares. Okay, let's have a look at this one now. Here we have our little boats. And you can see what stays the same at the bottom is our little red boat base, if we can call it that. Right, so these here stay the same. Right. So let's grow this one and expand or extend this pattern. So we will have our little boat base there, and of course each time we step up, we're adding one more little triangle onto that. So let's see if we can extend it. So that was 4 in the one before. We have to add one more each time, and it's 5. Clever. This is fun moving these little shapes like this. I'm enjoying myself. Here's the last one now. Let's see if we can make this, if we can finish this one. So you've got a little square, little orange square there, and you have 2 diamond shapes, and then a little orange square, and 4 diamond shapes, and then a little orange square, and 6 diamond shapes. So we are doubling on the diamond shapes each time. Let's see if we can do that now. So we do need to have a little orange square there, and then how many? We're adding, not doubling each time, we are adding 2 each time. Got to get the right terminology, Mrs. H. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're just never ending, these little shapes. It's quite clever. Right, so have I got 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there we have extended and increased that pattern. Very clever. Now, these get quite interesting. It says, show this pattern using pictures. So I've got to recreate this pattern, but I'm going to actually have to use a dove and a flower. So I'm going to actually start with my dove. I'm going to let my dove be what the hexagon is in this shape, right? So there we go. Dove is the hexagon, and the flower is going to represent the little orange square. So we've got hexagon with 1 dove, 2 flowers. I'm going to bring them down a little bit. I'm going to lock them together a little bit. 1 dove. That's not right, Mrs. Hahn. 1 dove, 1 flower. 1 dove, 2 flowers. 1 dove, 3 flowers. Right, and I've duplicated that pattern, but I've used different representing with different shapes. Now we're going to show the same pattern, but this time we're going to use numbers. Okay, so it's going to be, let's do, the 1 can be the hexagon, the yellow hexagon. So it's 1 hexagon, 1 square, 1 hexagon, and then the 2 will have 2 squares, 1 hexagon, and 3 squares. Okay, and this actually has got a sound effect as well, so let's listen to it. This is what it sounds like.
2.
Now I'm going to have to do that again.
1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2.
That is a lot of fun. So there we go. Then the numbers are now representing the hexagons and the little orange squares, and there's even sound put to that. Okay, now let's use words to duplicate or make the same pattern. So we're going to use zoo will be our hexagon, and zip will be our little square. Right? Zoo, zip, zoo, zip, zip, and zoo, zip, zip, zip. Let's see how that sounds, shall we?
Zoo, zip, zoo, zip, zip, zoo, zip, zip, zip.
That's quite fun. Now let's use the balloons and the symbols now, and they also got sound. So we're going to let the balloons be the hexagon. There we go. Oops. Balloons, symbols. Balloon, 2 symbols. Balloon, symbols, symbol, symbol. Right, let's see what that sounds like now. That was a lot of fun, don't you think? Right, the next one now. Here's another one. Now we're going to do the same sort of pattern, but we're going to put pictures in place again, and numbers and words and sound effects. So let's do this a little bit quicker this time. I'm going to make the little sausage dog the square, and I'm going to make the kitty is going to be the little diamonds or kite shapes. Okay, so it's dog, kitty, kitty, dog, cat, cat, 3, 4, dog, cat, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is the pattern shown in picture form. Now let's show this pattern using number form. So let's make the 6th a little square, right? 6, 8, 8, 6, 4 8s now, 1 little 6, and 6 8s, 5, 6, 7. I hope I've done enough grade 3s. We'll soon see. Right, now let's see what the sound is up. Just
6,
talking.
8,
It's a bit slow.
8, 6, 8, 8, 8, 8, 6, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8.
Right, let's do this one on the word now. Pat and cut. So the pat is the little square, pat, cut, cut, move it over a bit, pat, cut, 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 pat, cut, 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 and so there would be 8. Right, I'm not going to do them all now, but pat, come on, talk to me,
Pat,
cut,
cut, cut, pat, cut, 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 pat.
and then they would go on and on and on. Let's just do a little bit of this pattern. So you've got the little, oh, come on. Right, that is going, the penguin is going to represent the square, and the cow is going to represent the kite shapes. So it's penguin, cow, cow, penguin, cow, 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 penguin. I'm just going to do it just that far. Penguin. Quite a lot of fun with shapes. Right, now we've got pattern block houses, right? We can see there's a little house, a double-story little house, grade 3s, and then it doubles up, and then it adds another one and adds another one. So let's see if we can build house number 6. So it's where we've got, let's start with our, okay, so we need to have house number 5. So let's rather put that there in house number 5 first, obviously. I'm going to squish this up a little bit, I think. So we'll have 4 little houses next to each other instead of just 3. It's quite time consuming building these houses. Whoopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. I hope I'm going to manage to fit this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course then I'm not going to do house number 6 and house number 7 because it's just adding each time. and there we have our next step in the thing, and that's expanded our pattern again. Here we go, a similar kind of thing where you're going to add on to your square to make it 1 and then 4 and then 9. All right, so what happens with the next one? We're just going to keep adding on each time. Here we go. Over here there was just 1, and then had 2, and then had 3, and of course it went columns and rows as well were increased. Okay, so now we've got to have 4 in a row, and these make the perfect squares. There we go. Patterns with shapes, patterns with pictures. And then of course we can get onto patterns with numbers as well. We always say that number and maths and numbers and number patterns are really good friends. Right, and there we have it, extending that pattern. Another one here too, quite straightforward. When you start off with your little square, and then of course we're going to add 1 square to increase the size of the row, and 1 square to increase the size of the length of the column. Let's get this one going as quickly as we can. 1, 2, 3. Now we've got to make it 4 because we're adding on 1 in the column. I mean, we'll talk about rows and columns just now, and that's the next step. Okay, quite straightforward, isn't it? Grade 3. Here's another one where we are extending, starting with our little 1 there, and then adding on to 3 sides of it each time. So what does this one look like? Well, let's duplicate number 3, and then we will make sure that we systematically add on where we should. So there were 5 little squares there in a row, and there were 3 in the column. Notice I'm talking about rows and columns now. So I am going to have to add on 1 that side, and 1 that side, and 1 that side. So we've added on 3 sides of that shape, and there we have extended that pattern correctly. Right, now, do we know this pattern? No, we don't. We don't know that pattern at all. It's just 1 little circle. But now do we see that there's a pattern developing here? So what was the pattern? What was going on? What did they do to extend on it? So there we have our little singular one, little single circle, but then 2 more were added. So let's see if we can extend and make the next one. So I've duplicated this one here. So I'm going to actually have to add an extra one, and where we are making triangles, and our triangle will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now this pattern here, we are looking at grade 3s, we are looking at what we call a row. So that there is a row, and this here is a column, and we use that in maths quite often and many other different aspects of maths as well. Right, so how many rows in each and how many columns in each? So this one here has got 4 columns and 3 rows. This has got 3 columns and 2 rows. Here we have another little pattern with fir trees. So what did we do now? What is the rule? Because there's always a rule with the pattern. So with this one, we started off with our little triangle there, part of a little tree, and then there is adding onto that triangle, there it is, we add onto that triangle, and what did we do? We added 3 more. Right, so let's see if we can do pattern number 3 now. We have to turn some of these around. Whoopsie, around it goes. And again. And turn it round. Last one. There it is. Like a pyramid. That was fun. I'm really having to use my hands carefully with this mouse. Okay, so there's our other pattern. Now we can do patterns with tables, and this is like a restaurant. Restaurants often use small square tables to seat their customers. You must have seen that. And then they place one chair is placed on each side of the table. So 4 chairs will fit around 1 square table. How many will we fit around 2 square tables that are pushed together? Well, over here, so this gets 4. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though you've got 2 tables, it's not 8 chairs. You're not doubling on the chairs because of the arrangement of the tables. So now we've got 3 tables. Let's put the chairs around it. There you go. I bet you already know the answer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now let's assume that's 3 tables has got 8 chairs. If you were doing a seating plan for a wedding, this is what you'd have to be working out. Grade 3s, quite a lot of thinking. And now we've got 4 little tables pushed together. How many chairs does that give us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each time we're increasing by 2 chairs as we add a little table. And that is about it, grade 3, for our shapes and our patterns and expanding or extending our patterns. So there will be a worksheet for you to follow and a memo for you to mark your books or your worksheet. And I hope you've learned something about patterns, because we have to look for patterns in maths all the time. So why not start with shape and picture type patterns? All right, so from me, Les Harwin, your teacher, your maths teacher, on WorksheetCloud.com on a daily basis, or most days that is, a very good bye and enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, be kind to one another, help one another, and be positive. Well done. Thank you, grade 3s, for having me in your homes. It's a real privilege, and I love doing what I'm doing. A love to you and to your family. From me, bye for now.